What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the PWD channel where we discuss professional wrestling. In today's video, I'm covering the February 20th, 2023 episode of Monday Night Raw, and I'm going to be reviewing it, and I'll get off right away and say that this was a bad episode of Raw. It was just, there were a few bad things here and there, but even outside of the bad, there was a lot of boring, not almost any, actually I can't remember any good within this episode. This was just from top to bottom a really bad episode of Monday Night Raw, unfortunately. I'll give my rating later, but I'm just going to talk about some of the few key things that happened in tonight's episode. We'll start off with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn came out at the beginning of the show. Crowd is still really hot for Sami Zayn. Despite the loss at Elimination Chamber, the Canadian crowd tonight was very, very hot for Sami Zayn, which is good to see. I wasn't thinking that it was going to cool off that quickly. Thankfully, it hasn't cooled off. Everyone's still going hot for Sami Zayn. After the entrance, though, for me personally, it kind of just fell off after this. Now, I know this could be seen as sort of a hot take, but I am not interested in the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens tag match that's supposedly supposed to happen versus the Usos at WrestleMania. I am personally not interested in that at all. This segment didn't do me any favors, to be honest, and I know I'm already being down. I haven't even explained the segment. But Sami Zayn comes out. He says there's one person he wants to call out. He calls out Kevin Owens. He starts to, say thank you, I guess, Kevin. And also he talks to Kevin for a little bit and says that words aren't enough. There's nothing that can be said at this point. The damage in our relationship is far beyond, words can't repair that at this point. But I know that Kevin, I know that you still want to defeat the Bloodline, and I still want to defeat the Bloodline. You've tried to do it alone. I've tried to do it alone. It has not worked. Let's become a tag team. That's pretty much what he said. Let's do this together. Let's take down the Bloodline together. I believe we could do it together. Kevin Owens, he's not having any of it. He's like, all the things that you've done to me, no thank you. I did that. I came out at Elimination Chamber and beat up the Bloodline for my own personal reasons. I didn't do this for you. I did this for myself and for your family, but not for you at all. That's why I did this. I didn't want your family to see you getting beaten up, so I saved you, but that was for myself. I did that for me. And he also said that if you want to help defeat the Bloodline, if you want a tag team partner against the Bloodline, go ask your buddy Jey Uso. Throws the mic and walks away. The crowd boos Kevin Owens, but he walks out anyway. It's just, again, I know that this is probably a hot take and maybe not the popular opinion, but this is a huge step down from Sami Zayn fighting Roman Reigns for the title at Elimination Chamber to fighting for the tag titles because he wants to take down the Bloodline. It's just not for me. It's not working. The story makes sense. I get it. But it's just a huge step down. Now, I'm willing to give Triple H the benefit of the doubt. And, I could see that there's probably some possibilities for long-term storytelling here. I can potentially see that maybe they do defeat the Bloodline at WrestleMania. They win the tag titles. And maybe Sami does get elevated back into that world title picture at some point down the line. But I am just so much more interested in Sami having won the world title at Elimination Chamber than winning the tag titles at Mania. Honestly, the moment he lost to Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, for me, it killed it permanently. It's dead. The whole, I want to take down the blood, it's dead. You've lost. You lost to Roman Reigns. It's done. There's nothing else that can be done. I don't understand. It also doesn't make sense because Jey is not even part of the Bloodline at the moment. He hasn't really chosen a side. He's not really part of So right now the Bloodline is just 3 people. And we already know Cody's going to defeat them pretty much. I don't know. This isn't for me. I don't want to go too much more. I don't want to say too much more about it. But after that, Sami Zayn got jumped by Baron Corbin. And then they had a match after that. And this match went far too long. Just disgustingly long. I don't know why they made this match go so long. But it went way too long. Sami Zayn did win with a haluva kick, though. One of the other important things is probably the last important thing on this show. Cody Rhodes arrives right when he's about to start talking. He's about to start cutting a promo. Paul Heyman shows up on the Tron. And Paul Heyman this was a bad promo from Paul Heyman. This was a very bad start to this feud, or the second start to this feud, I guess, because they had to start before Elimination Chamber. But now that it's confirmed that it's Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, this was basically this was the real start, and it was bad. Paul Heyman honestly, this promo from Paul Heyman was really boring, like very, very boring. It was I don't know what he was saying. He was talking a bunch of nonsense. Basically saying how, Cody, like, he was basically saying, Cody, I don't think you can handle the schedule of a champion. That's way too many days out of the week you have to work. You're not going to be able to see your wife and kids, blah, blah, blah. And you're just not going to have time. You can't handle the schedule. He said that, but in the longest form ever. It got so boring that the crowd was booing him. Like, the crowd was so bored of the promo. I was sitting there like, Heyman, what are you talking about, bro? It was bad. It was a bad promo. And by the end of it, to cap off this bad promo, he ends off the promo by saying, now look, Cody, I'm not going to sit here and say some generic crap like Roman Reigns is going to, after he defeats you at WrestleMania, he's going to take your wife from you, and since you won't be there anymore, he'll be there to comfort your wife. I'm not going to say that, because Roman Reigns is a married man, but I'm not a married man. And he was insinuating that he's going to get with Brandy Rhodes and Paul Heyman, and what? Like, I'm sorry, why are they making this feud about Paul Heyman stealing Cody Rhodes' what? Like, it was just bad. It was really bad. And Cody, after that, cut a promo a little bit after Heyman got off the Tron, and Cody was like, he looked into the hard camera and he said, Roman, don't send Heyman anymore. I want to talk to you face to face, because I'm going to finish the story and beat you at WrestleMania. It was bad. There's nothing else to say about it. It was bad. Like, I hate to talk about this in such a negative way, especially after the beautiful 10 out of 10 promo that Cody and Paul Heyman had in the ring like a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, when I reviewed the show, and it was beautiful, and it almost brought me to tears. From that to this, we're now making this feud about Paul Heyman stealing Brandy from Cody. Like, how did we get here? What happened? I don't understand how we got here. How did it get so low? But there was that. Seth Rollins and The Miz was the only good match throughout the night, to be honest. It was, and even then, it was just fine. There was nothing crazy about it. Seth ended up beating The Miz by the ref stoppage, because he curb stomped The Miz 3 times. So that was a pretty cool finish, to be honest. But yeah, The Miz got destroyed. Another thing that's worth mentioning is Ding Dong Del Hello was hosted by Damage Control. Becky interrupted. Becky and Lita are now going to be challenging for the title. Or actually, they are. The match is official. They are fighting Damage Control for the women's tag team titles next week. So that should be interesting. I think it's next week. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's next week. Edge and Theory were in the main event for the United States Championship. This was as predictable as ever. We figured the Judgment Day would come through and break up the match and stop Edge from winning. That's exactly what happened. Finn says he's not finished, and Finn hits Edge with a coup de grace. And those are the only relevant points of this show. This was a very bad episode of Raw. A very bad episode. There was so many problems. It was boring. Everything was boring. There was a lot of filler, and it was boring. None of the matches stood out at all. Seth and The Miz was the only good one, but it was, again, just moderately fine. The main event was very predictable. The Cody and Heyman segment was bad. It was very bad. The Sami and KO segment, me personally, I am just not interested in seeing the tag match at WrestleMania. It's a huge fall from grace from where Sami was literally just 2 days ago on Saturday night in Elimination Chamber. Yeah, and not only that, a lot of the matches that could have been good, the pacing on the show was very disgusting. There was commercial breaks littered throughout the entire show. Every 5 minutes there was a commercial break. It ruined any chance at any match being relatively decent. That episode of Raw, unfortunately, the worst of 2023, no doubt the worst of 2023. So yeah, not a good episode of Raw. I'm so sorry to be negative, but it just wasn't a good episode of Raw. I review these shows. I rate them every single Monday, every single Wednesday and Friday, of course, for Dynamite and SmackDown. But for this one in particular, I'd give this a 0.9 out of 5. I'm going to give this episode of Raw a 0.9 out of 5. Early on to the show, I wanted to stop watching. And if it wasn't for this review, I would have stopped watching a long time before the show ended. I wanted to stop watching Raw very early on. The last 2 hours of the show, I felt like I was being suffocated while watching this show. It was horrendous. But with that being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope it was better than Raw. Leave a like if you did, and comment down below what you thought of this episode of Raw. It wasn't good to me, but let me know what you thought about it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We cover wrestling throughout this channel every single week. We cover breaking news, we cover Raw, SmackDown, and and Dynamite, not Rampage yet at least. But yeah, I'm going to end this there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. I'll be back on Wednesday for the Dynamite review. See you then. Peace.